Imagine an experienced pilot flying over open sea. He radios in, describing a strange object with no wings, getting closer and closer. Suddenly, the transmission cuts out. His plane? Never found. Gone without a trace. What happened to him? For many, the answer isn't science fiction. It's alien abduction. When someone disappears without a trace, our minds panic. We can't stand the deafening silence of the unknown. That's when the wild theories emerge, bizarre, yet somehow seductive. And of all these fringe theories, alien abduction is one of the most popular and persistent. But why? Why are we so drawn to this idea? It's because it gives the unexplained a narrative. It takes the terrifying chaos of randomness and puts it into the hands of an intelligence, something far beyond our own understanding. It replaces a senseless void with a story, no matter how strange that story might be. It suggests purpose, even if that purpose is alien and unknowable. It's a way for our brains to cope with a reality that is sometimes too harsh to accept, that sometimes people just vanish. The idea of an advanced civilization plucking someone from our world is, in a weird way, more comforting than the thought that they simply ceased to exist for no reason at all. It provides an answer, a villain, and a sense of order in a situation defined by its complete lack of it. Let's go back to Australia, 1978. Meet Frederick Valentich, a 20-year-old pilot with a passion for flying. He was on a solo training flight over the Bass Strait, a routine trip he'd made before, but this time was different. As the sun began to set, Valentich radioed the air traffic control tower in Melbourne. His voice was calm at first, but tinged with confusion. He reported seeing 4 bright lights about 1,000 feet above him. Then, he said the object was approaching him at high speed. The controllers on the ground couldn't see anything on their radar. Valentich continued his report, his voice growing more strained. He said, "It seems to be playing some sort of game. It's flying over me." He described it as long, metallic, and shiny with a green light on it. Then his transmission became more frantic. He told the tower, "Something is following me. It's circling above. It's not an aircraft." And then, perhaps the most chilling part, it's hovering, and it's not an aircraft. Those were his last known words. The line filled with a strange, metallic scraping sound for about 17 seconds. And then, silence. The signal was cut. Radar lost him. An extensive search and rescue operation was launched immediately. Planes and ships scoured the sea for days. They found nothing. No wreckage from his Cessna 182, no oil slick, no personal belongings, no body. Absolutely no clues. Frederick Valentich had vanished from the face of the earth. The official investigation tried to explain it away. The Department of Transport suggested that Valentich might have become disoriented, flying upside down, and what he saw were the reflections of his own plane's lights on the water. They floated theories of pilot error, instrument failure, or even the tragic possibility of suicide. But for many, these explanations just didn't add up. Valentich was a competent pilot. The weather was clear. He had over 150 hours of flying time, and his final, panicked transmission didn't sound like someone who was simply disoriented. UFO researchers and the public alike weren't convinced by the official story. They believed it was something else entirely. The details were just too specific, too strange. The description of the object, the hovering, the final abrupt end to the communication. For them, the conclusion was inescapable. Frederick was taken. Abducted by the occupants of the unidentified flying object he had described so vividly in his final moments. The Frederick Valentich case wasn't just a local mystery, it exploded into a global phenomenon. It made headlines in newspapers around the world. Radio shows dedicated hours to discussing it. Documentaries were produced, dissecting every second of his final transmission. The story had all the elements of a perfect mystery. A young pilot, a lone flight over a dark sea, and a cryptic final message about an unidentified craft. The public's imagination was completely captured. Theories flooded in from all corners. Some believed he was abducted for scientific study, a human specimen for an alien civilization. Others speculated that he saw something he wasn't supposed to see, perhaps a secret military craft or an alien base, and was silenced. Another popular idea was that he simply got too close to their ship and was accidentally pulled in or destroyed. The complete lack of physical evidence, which should have made the case impossible to solve, actually had the opposite effect. It only fueled the public's obsession. The void of answers became a canvas onto which anyone could project their own theory. And with every year that passed, with no new evidence emerging, the alien abduction theory didn't fade away. It grew stronger. Not because it was ever proven, but because, in the absence of any other satisfying explanation, it became the most believable story to fill the void. It was an answer, and people desperately needed one. So why do these fringe theories have such a strange and powerful hold over us? It's because on a deep psychological level, they offer us a form of protection. They shield us from the cold, hard idea that the universe can be cruel, random, and utterly indifferent. The thought that a person can just be erased from existence, by an accident, by the elements, by nothing at all, is terrifying. It suggests a lack of control that we find deeply unsettling. A fringe theory, like alien abduction, offers a story. It creates a cause and effect. It replaces randomness with intention. Even if that story involves flying saucers and secret experiments on a spaceship, it's still a story. It has characters, a plot, and a purpose, however bizarre. The truth is, when no official answers are forthcoming, when the silence from the authorities is deafening, any story can become better than no story at all. We are storytelling creatures, and we use stories to make sense of the world, especially its most frightening and inexplicable parts. Frederick Valentich vanished into the evening sky. He left behind no goodbyes, no wreckage, no closure for his family, just a final, haunting radio call that has echoed through the decades. But what if he's still alive? Somewhere not of this earth, a permanent resident of a world we can't even imagine. Or worse. What if his strange encounter wasn't unique? What if he wasn't the first, and he certainly wasn't the last? Thanks for watching. If you're fascinated by the unexplained, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries.